Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Dream Italia. I'm your Madan. Today we are going to discuss about some recent queries which we got it from the group called Prospective Students in Italy. So those who are watching this video without any subscriptions, try to subscribe my YouTube channel called Dream Italia and please support me. Let's go to the video. Um, the first query is if I apply DOV separately, not with visa file submission, then I have to submit my original degree and transcript as well, both duly apostille and translated. So can I go for visa dropping without DOV arrival, or do I have to wait for my DOV? If yes, then how can I show my original degree and education document to the embassy people, or DOV receipt will be enough? Okay, this person query is, I will say like a simple manner. He is planning to apply for the DOV in a separate manner. For example, he is planning to apply his DOV separate and visa like separate process. And he is asking that if I submitted my DOV, like at the time of my DOV, then I will hand over my duly apostille document, right? Like my degree convocations and also about my transcript also. So, do I need to wait for getting the DOV in as a hard copy, or else based on the DOV receipt can I go for the visa submissions? He is asking. The answer is first of all, you can't able to apply DOV and the visa in separately, only for the cases if you are belong from the Sapienza University, or else when you need DOV for completing your scholarship process, or recently the Lazio regional scholarship is asking about the DOV as a mandatory. Then later peoples are just explain the situations. It's not possible to get the DOV, so that they have made some amendments. Like instead of DOV, you can submit like a self declarations. So likewise. Nowadays, I heard even the DSU Toscana regions also they are asking about the DOV as a mandatory basis, especially for the scholarship process. So wherever if you want to submit, so wherever you need to submit the DOV as a mandatory process, either for completing the pre-enrollment. For example, I would say Sapienza University. For completing the Sapienza University, the pre-enrollment process itself, you need a DOV as a mandatory basis. So in this scenario, only you can able to apply for DOVs separately. If not, you have to apply DOV and visa in the same time only. So we will comes to the your particular scenario. So if you belong from Sapienza, then you can apply for DOV separately and visa separately. So next while submitting your DOV process, at the time you have to submit your original degree and all, right? Like your original degree and also about your transcript. It should be duly apostille and translated as well. So your query is you have to wait for the DOV, or else can I go with the DOV receipt, right? This will be like a two this approach will be in two cases. For example, I would say if you belong from the same Mumbai jurisdiction. For example, in India there are three jurisdictions, right? Like Mumbai embassy, Kolkata embassy, and also the Delhi embassies are available. So there are three branches. If you belong from the Mumbai jurisdictions and you have completed, or else you are graduated especially from the Mumbai jurisdictions, then you can apply for DOV separately. And also if it is mandatory for completing your pre-enrollment process, or maybe for your scholarship process, then at the time based on your university mail you can apply for DOV separately. And you don't want to wait any particular time, or else you don't want to wait for the hard copies for getting the DOV. So you can, based on the DOV receipt, you can apply for visa submission also. It's not a problem. But you know if you belong from Kolkata embassy, and you are planning to apply for a visa in Mumbai embassy, and you graduated in the concerned your graduation, or else you recently graduated in the Kolkata jurisdictions, at that time it's not possible to go with your DOV receipt, because both are like a different branches. So at that time you have to wait for your DOV arrival. So once you are getting your DOV certifications, so based on that only you have to apply for visa in a particular respective embassy. Next scenario is, hi everyone, my dad working in abroad and my mom is not a earning person. So my mom is not a earning person, so and they both didn't work, they don't have any bank account through, they are receiving the money through IME. So if I open a bank account today and put 18k euro in it, in that case it is impossible for me to provide 6 month bank statement. So please guide me in this scenario. Okay, he's asking that his father is working in abroad and his mom is like a housewife. She's not like a earning person. So he don't he they are getting the money from abroad to here. They are getting the money from abroad to here as a based on the IME. So in this scenario, he is asking, can I make a new account, like a new bank account, and can I put like a 18k euros, like 18,000 euros in it, and can I show the bank statement? For example, I would say 6 month is not a 6 month is not a minimum bank statement. Minimum bank statement is like a 3 month, at least 3 month bank statement you have to submit it actually at the time of your visa submission. So in this scenario, I would suggest, uh, first of all, try to collect the collect the required documents, like your father working experience, and also you need to submit the evidence like your father is working in abroad, and his work experience letter and his salary credited documents, everything. Then later, you just said right, you are receiving the money through IME. So when you are receiving the money through IME, so you will have definitely some proof, right? Like this much of amount has been transferred via IME from this country to this country. So based on, you have to collect those documents also. And later, if you have a bank account, for example, if you are having a bank account already, like existing account, then you can transfer the amount to that particular bank account, and you have to submit the sponsorship account, which state that my father is working in abroad and I got the money from my father. And you have to submit the sponsorship affidavit also. So you can submit your bank statement. If you don't have your pre-existing bank also, at the time you have to open a bank account as soon as possible. Don't delay, because just to wait for at least 1 month, because this is really not suggestible. Embassy people will let you know that only because of visa purpose only you are creating the you are creating the bank new bank account, so it will be considered as a suspicious activity. So I would suggest you to open the bank account as soon as possible. If you have already a pre-existing bank account, then go with that and try to collect the relevant like source document whichever I have mentioned now. Any university in which admissions are open for Bachelor of Pharmacy? First of all, Bachelor of Pharmacy is not like Bachelor of Pharmacy is available in most of the university in Italian language only, not in the English language. So there are few universities which is offering like Bachelor of Pharmacy in the English language also. For example, I would say in Sapienza University and Bologna University and University of Tor Vergata also, the Bachelor of Pharmacy is available, but it is available as a single cycle degree, like it will be like a 5 years actually. So you can't able to do the bachelor's alone, you have to get a single cycle program. So for that also there will be some specific entry requirement. For example, I would say there will be some admission test and there will be some Skype interview for getting a Bachelor of Pharmacy. So I would suggest you, in this academic year, if you are looking for any Bachelor of Pharmacy, it's not possible to get it, because almost every not every 99% of universities have been completed their admission process and all. So you have to try for the next intake. As I read your comments, like you are already already applied for Pavia University and you got it for acceptance letters for medicine, right? So I agree that you are looking for some alternative options. It is really good, but this especially for pharmacy it's not possible, because there will be only few universities which is offering a pharmacy as English program. Those are also the admission process already completed. Anybody applying for Messina University? Yes, there are a lot of people from Messina University, and I think you got the group link also, right, in the WhatsApp group. Yes, one of the persons sent group WhatsApp link also. Thank you so much. And the next query is, I translated my documents for DOV. There is a typing mistake in my master transcript. My father name spelled Shabir. There is a Shabir. Okay, A is missing. Is there any issue? Definitely, because if you are facing any this like extra like surname problem, or else the name problem like a spelling mistake, everything will plays a major role. So I would suggest you try to correct your translator document. It's better to do the translation again. Tell them your translator to give the corrected informations, like a new document, new translator document. So it would be fine if you are going with the new document. But if you are planning to go with the pre-existing like a translator document, then it would be a big problem in the future. So don't take a risk. Next query is it good or bad if I mention my job in visa cover letter? Is this affect my visa application? If affect, in which manner? Okay, this person is asking that, can I show my work experience in the cover letter? If I am mentioning in the cover letter like currently I'm working, or else I already had the experience in this particular field, then it will be a impact. What kind of impact it will produce, whether it is a advantage or whether it is a disadvantage, like that he's asking. Regarding the same, I already made some notification also, like work experience. If you have work experience, then you can mention it, but not in a deep manner. For example, I would say, when you have to mention the work experience, then it will be advantage for you. While applying for the universities, if you have any work experience, like a relevant work experience, then if you are mentioning at the time of the admission process, like in your SOP, then it is really a good, and it will increase your academic profile value. At the time, it will be really easy to get your admission when compared to freshers. You already had experience with some kind of particular field, right? So definitely it will boost up your profile and you will get the admission also. But when comes under the visa, it won't plays a major role. For example, if you are mentioning in your the work experience, it won't create any impact, especially for your visa process. So I would suggest, usually they used to mention the the year gap, especially they used to mention the work experience, especially in the cover letter. If the people have more than 2 years of year gaps, for example, if you have completed your bachelor's or master's at the time of more than 3 years ago, then there will be some year gap, right? For fulfilling the year gaps only, the people used to make some they used to mention in the cover letter, like in this particular field I have a experience and I already completed my bachelor's on 2016 or 17, like that. So that too not in a deep manner. And also I read your comment, you're planning to mention you're still working, right? It doesn't make a sense. For example, you're going to do the the study visa application, so you're planning to go for abroad country, like you're planning to come for Italy. At the time, if you're telling that still I'm working in one organizations, then definitely it may lead to a lot of questions about your work experience. So it's better to don't mention your work experience, because I have seen you just have only the 4 month experience, right? It won't less than 1 year, it's not the not at all problem, especially in this pandemic situation. Year gap is not at all problem. Even if you have more than 2 years also, it's not a problem. But the thing is, if you are mentioning it, it will be like your relevant experience. So make sure about your the joining letter. Mentioning a work experience is not an easy. For that, you should make sure about these things. First of all, the work experience should be relevant to your particular field. For example, where what you graduated, which program you graduated, and what kind of experience you have, and also which program you are going. The is that work experience is relevant to your program which you are selected in the the university, like in your university which is located in Italy. So make sure about these things and all. And also about your relieving letter. So once you have proper relieving letter and proper acceptance letters like offer letter, then you can mention about your work experience. If not, don't mention everything in a deep manner. If you have everything, just like simple terms you can mention, especially in the cover letter, because it won't plays any major roles actually. Then this person is asking like, can I calculate the easy value manually, like that she is asking. Okay, let me see the query. Sorry for the delay sometimes. Okay, anybody going to University of L'Aquila? Unfortunately, most of the people won't go there. Hello, when I request statement of comparability from CMA, should I translate my academic document from English to Italian? Do I need Italian language translation? For example, if you are planning for the statement of comparability from CMA, then you don't require to do the translation, especially if your document, like if your degree and the transcript everything in the English, means you don't want to do any translations specifically if you're planning for CMA. So if you're it is vice versa, if you're planning for DOV at the time, you have to make sure the translation also. For example, you need to do either HRD attestations or else SM attestations, and you have to do the MA apostle, and later you have to do the Italian language translation also. But CMA, it's not like a mandatory. If you already had, then you have to submit the translated document. If you don't have it, then go for your original degree which is already available in English. Enquiring on behalf of my friend, he doesn't have father and her mother is not earning person. However, his brother is earning pretty well. Can he sponsor? Okay, this scenario would be like, as I said, as per recent embassy update, the parents should be parents only your sponsors, right? For example, either your father or either your mother, or the both can be a sponsor for your visa process. But it is vice versa. Only few exceptional cases, like in this case, I can say as an example, like this person, he's asking for some other friend. The friend is don't have a father, and his mom is like a earning not earning person. So in this scenario, he have his own brother, and the brother is working well, and he is earning much, he is earning some he is earning, and he can able to sponsor. So in this scenario, you can tell them like, my I don't have a father, and my mom is like a housewife, and she is not working anywhere, and my brother, I have only my brother, and he is earning well, and he is planning to be like my sponsor. So in this scenario, embassy will definitely accept it. So for that, you need to make some specific documentation, in the sense like you need to make some affidavit, like you need to make some sponsorship affidavit, and also make sure about the death certificate also. For example, if they are asking, so you need to provide the death certificate also. So make sure about the reliable documents. Okay, my bank sanctioned education loan and provide me loan sanction letter. Is there any other alternative to show money in our account, or should I go with the education loan for the visa process? As I already said, you can show the financial support in a three ways: either from your account as a self account, and you can show it from the sponsorship account. And recently we got a update like the sponsor should be either your mom or your father, or both can be. So in this scenario, you have to get the bank statement of your father, or bank statement or bank balance certificate of your mom, and you have to go with that. The third way is like a education loan sanction letter. Unfortunately, this time embassy was very strict, and they made lot of recent update, especially for the education loan sanction letters. I have read all the comments also, like in that there will be lot of long conversation between my moderator and one of the member also. Thanks for the informations and all. The thing is, previously education loan sanction letter alone, if you are submitting, it is enough, instead of showing the bank statement and the bank balance certificate. But now embassy is asking the people, if you are planning to show like a 12 lakhs or like 2 years financial support only based on the education loan sanction letter, At the time you are in a situation to submit your bank balance certificate and bank statement also as an additional supporting document. In this scenario, so those are planning for the education loan, and so those are planning for education loan sanction letter alone. In that scenario, you have to make sure you have to get the bank balance certificate from the bank, and try to get the money like in your account itself. Like you, instead of showing only the loan sanction letter, you can tell them, ask them to get the dispersed money in your account and make it the the make it as a bank balance certificate. If possible, do some self affidavit also. That makes more sense actually. So embassy was very strict. So those are planning for education loan, then you can do like this actually. Only based on the loan sanction letter you can't able to submit your visa application as per recent update. Hello friends, I have two questions. Should you translate your diploma into Italian when you apply for DOV from embassy? When you apply for visa, you can provide CMA instead of DOV. Okay, first I would say, you have to translate your diploma into Italian when you are applying for. Yes, yes, exactly. If you are planning for DOV, then you have to do either HRD or STM attestations, MA apostle, then later you have to do the DOV, right? So at that time the Italian language translation is like a mandatory. Either you have to do the Italian language translation mandatory for your degree convocations, and based upon the university you have to do the translation for your transcript also. For if you are planning for DOV, then it's a mandatory, like translation is mandatory. If you are planning for the CMA, like a statement of comparability, at the time the translation is not at all mandatory. You can go with the directly based on your apostle, plus you have to do the statement of comparability without any Italian language translation. It's not a mandatory. And also you are asking, can we consider the the statement of comparability, I mean the CMA, as an alternative for DOB? Yes, of course you can submit, you can consider the statement of comparability is an alternative document, especially for the declaration of value. Is there any active WhatsApp group for the casino? After the call, I mean after the recording session, I will send you the link. Here they are just making the uh, just they are telling about the room vacancies. Those are looking for accommodations, you can contact them. Can we go for sponsor other than parents? For example, company sponsorship. Anyone got information regarding embassy in Delhi? I am damn sure you can't able to go with a sponsor, especially for your company, because in this case comes under the third parties, right? Maybe the employer is not like your comes under your parents, and they won't be your blood relatives. So in this scenario you can't able to show your employer as a you know your company as a sponsors actually. So you have to go with either by your account, or else you have to go with your parents instead of employer. Can anyone briefly describe the difference between long-term D visa and short-term visa? Okay, first of all, long-term D visa and short-term D visa, only the difference is the number of days which the Schengen country, the long-term D visa, for example, I would say the study visa, and the work visa also, some kind of work visa will comes under the long-term D visa. And the short-term C visa is come, for example, we can say, you know um example we can say the tourist visa, and also like a business visa. Like these things and all comes under the like emergency visa, some especially for the medical treatment or something, these and all comes under the short term visa. Only the number of days will make a difference actually. For example, for short term visa, maybe you will get it as a like from 1 month to 3 month, like 30 days to 90 days it will be available. More than 90 days you can't able to get the short term visa. Either you have to come back, or else you have to renew it again. The long term D visa, usually they are providing for 1 year, like a 6 month, like 180 days to 365 days. So 6 years, 6 months to 1 year, this you can renewal it easily. And what is the next scenario? I think we have seen many other scenarios and all. Yes. Okay, those are watching this video without any subscriptions, try to subscribe my YouTube channel and let me know if you have any other further videos or else you have any other specific queries, try to post it in our group and I'll try to make clarifications. I think I'm making one more time. Did I missed anything or I have completed all the scenarios? Okay, this person scenario we didn't see it. She's just asking that she got the her parents salary verifications and those document and all. She's just she want to know whether can we able to do the the easy verificator by manually, like can we do it by ourselves, something she is asking. That the thing is, for making a easy verificator, it will be calculated by either by you, also by the CAF peoples or else the appropriate regional scholarship people have their own the software and all, they can able to make it from their side. First of all, this is like your for example I would say this is also same like your codice fiscale. Either you can get the codice fiscale like manually, like there are some online portals available, based on your data you will get some the rough codice fiscale, and also at the time of your pre-enrollment you will get the codice fiscale, and also later once you arrive here you will get the same thing as a tax code, like you will get it as a document based on your agency intrate after coming here. But there won't be any much differences, likewise this is also same. Isi parificato will be calculated based on your consular document, the consular document in the sense I would say the family compositions and the family income and no property or property certifications, and also the bank statement for the particular year based on your regional scholarship. So I would say some scholarship region you can able to calculate your easy parificato manually. For example, Ergo and all, those are belong from the Bologna and also the Parma University and all. While they are making the scholarship application, they can able to they can able based on their data they can able to get to know their easy parificata value. At the same time they can able to get to know about it. But for many of the regions you can't able to make it by yourself. For example, you have to get it based on your consult document. Once you send it to the CAF office, then their people will calculate your easy parificato and they will send it via your mail. So I would say you don't want to bother about this specific scenario. Just to send your documents to the send your consular document to the respective CAF office. They will calculate and they will send back to you. And again I'm just checking. Okay, hi guys, just confirmation, did anyone receive the summary letter of University of Macerata? Yes, there are a lot of people who have received their the pre-enrollment summary. Depends upon the university, the time will be taken. For Macerata, maximum they are taking 2 to 3 weeks actually. Just a confirmation, did anyone receive the summary letter from the University of Casino? The same query, as I already said, depends upon the the university. The pre-enrollment generation will be differ. Sometimes some university will generate within a days, and some universities they will take in a week time, and some universities they will take in a month time. As I heard, in Casino University, the people who is waiting some more than 2 months also they are just waiting. So those are waiting for the pre-enrollment summary. So I would suggest if you are applied more than a 2 month, then just to remind them, like your international help desk, you just to remind them like I have applied my pre-enrollment process at the month of May or at the month of June, but till now I didn't get it. As you are aware, the visa process has been already started. So I'm planning to submit my visa application as soon as possible. So I just request you to try to generate my pre-enrollment document as soon as possible. So definitely you will get it as soon as possible. So just remind them. You just need to remind them, or else you should be very patient for getting the same thing. So then at the meanwhile you can focus on your visa document and other stuffs. I think remaining okay. Dear all, how is the Mumbai embassy and VFS working? They operate normally, or is there any restrictions? Anyone secured visa recently? Yes, there are some people who have received their visa recently, especially from the Parma University and other university peoples also received their visa, even from the Mumbai embassy. And I heard there won't be any slots available, especially in these days. I also personally checked before starting this video. From the VFS, Chennai VFS and Bangalore VFS, and also Mumbai VFS also. I just checked it right now, but there won't be any slots available. But they are functioning normally only. They are still processing the visa applications. Then they are still either approving or rejecting the visas and all. And there are a lot of people who is getting calls from the embassy people frequently, especially about their financial support, and they are making a lot of queries about regarding the same. So I think if you are planning for submitting your, I mean, making some appointment, especially for the visa application, then try for the premium. For normally, if you're checking, the slots are not available. Like there won't be any slots actually. But when you're clicking for the premium services, then the slots are available. So try, if any urgent basis, then try to look about the premium services. Then definitely you will get the, you know the you can able to schedule an appointment, especially for your long term D visa. And remaining queries and all we have already seen. And okay, thank you guys, and thank you for your attentions, and thank you for your patience and all. And those are watching this video without any subscriptions, try to subscribe it. And thanks for your support. Have a great day. Tata, bye bye. Until then, I will meet you in next video, like with some good news, or else like a good recent update which I have gathered regarding the HOD attestations and STM attestations and all. So stay tuned. If you're having any doubts or any other important based means, you already know about my contact number and all, so you can contact me at any time if something is like important. And nice to talking with you. Thanks for your patience and thanks for your attention also. Tata, bye bye, take care. It's Madan.